Hey, what's up, Squatch Ranger YouTube channel? This is the Squatch Ranger. I'm back. I'm putting out another short video, if you will. I've been putting out these short videos, kind of a skeptic's point of view series. If you go back on my YouTube channel, you can go back and watch a video called Bigfoot Eyewitness Quiz. Basically, trying to see if you can identify different various animals in the wilderness, especially bears walking upright. I also have a video called Bigfoot Suit ID. Skeptics like to say that eyewitnesses are just seeing people in costumes, so it's kind of a breakdown of different Bigfoot costumes out on the market and being able to identify those different Bigfoot costumes. I also have an older video called Squatchers or Skeptics, a look at the Patterson-Gimlin film, where I actually get into my Bigfoot costume and I try to recreate the walk of Patty. You can check that out. It's one of my older videos. Not really a skeptic's point of view, but this next one's kind of an honorable mention. How fast can a Sasquatch run? I break down different animals in the wilderness and their various speeds that they run, and then we kind of try to put Sasquatch somewhere in between those animals, guessing how fast they can run. Please check out those videos. So today's video goes right along with the skeptic's point of view. We're going to be looking at Bigfoot tracks compared to bear tracks. The skeptics are saying that when we find a Bigfoot track, it's nothing more than a double-stepped bear track. So I thought, okay, let's look at some bear tracks. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. Let's see what's going on here. And so that's what we're doing. Real quick, I want to give a special thanks. A lot of the information from this video comes from bear.org and the North American Bear Center, so I do want to give them credit for some of the pictures and information in this video. First off, let's take a look at and compare the trackways. What does a bear trackway look like compared to a Sasquatch trackway? So here's our first example. Bears walk in the same tracks of the bears that went before them, leaving a pattern of depressions that last for years, especially near marking trees. Okay, so right here you can see that these prints are more offset, very similar to how we would walk, or each step we take is more offset, and that's not really what we see in Sasquatch trackways. So this is a great example of bears just using the same trackway over the years, and all that weight makes these big depressions that last, and you can really see them. Alright, let's take a look at a trackway in the snow. Bears often use a direct register walk to save energy when traveling in deeper snow. They step their rear foot in the track left by the front foot. So here's a trackway in the snow. Once again, looks very kind of human-like. It's offset. They are double stepping there, and it could look like a Bigfoot print if you measure that with a tape measure. Might be bigger than an average human's foot because of the double steps, but it's offset. So if you are a more experienced Bigfoot hunter, if you will, you already know that Sasquatch tracks are more in a straight line, so you probably wouldn't think this is a Bigfoot trackway. Okay, let's take a look at an example of a Bigfoot trackway. This is courtesy of one of our investigators in the NOBRO, Evans Bailey. He took this photo in the Stinchcombe Wildlife Refuge, just near Oklahoma City. Now, this area is not known for having black bear. I'm not saying there's zero black bear in this area, but you just don't see them. You really don't. So I'm very, very confident this trackway is not by a black bear. And if you look closely, this trackway is more in a straight line, and it's paralleling this access road that goes through the park. So this is more what we would look and expect from a Sasquatch trackway. Alright, let's go to a snow example. So once again, this is the snow. This is courtesy of the BFRO. We have a straight line trackway. This is what we are looking for as Bigfoot investigators. When we're actually looking at a trackway, we think they're going to be straight because we believe Sasquatch walk in a straight line. we can already tell off the bat, looking at comparing the trackways, there's just no way you could confuse the two. I'm just saying that for the skeptics out there. Alright, let's just look at examples of just tracks. So here's just a single bear pad. The broadest part of the palm pad is on the outside, and the shortest toe, which may not register, is on the inside. So sometimes with a single bear track, the littlest toe, which would be on the inside, that's opposite of humans. Our pinky toe is on the outside of our foot. Well, their pinky toe is on the inside, and sometimes it doesn't even register in the print. So here's an example of that. Okay, let's move on to our next double step example. So here is a double step example. Bears frequently move in an overstep walk, with the rear foot falling in front of where the front foot registered. So you can clearly see these are two tracks and they are kind of overlapping, but you can kind of see that break in the middle, and you can tell these are two different tracks, but they are overlapping. I don't know if I'm looking at that, I'm not really going to think it's a Sasquatch track. This example I'm not. Okay, now let's look at a double step in the snow. This track was made by a bear in its slow, alternating walking gait, with the footprints appearing pigeon-toed as is usual. The prints are mostly direct registered, meaning the larger hind foot falls directly on top of the smaller front footprint. This print shows where the hind foot just overstepped the front foot. Bear tracks this clear are usually distinguishable, as they look a lot like human footprints. So yes, this one, if I was to stumble upon this at first, I would get really excited, but after further investigation and further looking at it, you can tell that back foot overstepped. You can kind of see a break in the middle there. So you have to really look for these things. If you do find a single track out there, these things can happen. That's a really good example. So here's a bear double step track, and yes, that can look human-like or even Bigfoot-like. Okay, here's another example. So we can clearly see the two different prints and how the bigger hind foot stepping in front of that smaller front pad, and you can clearly see it's two different tracks. So if you're out there investigating Bigfoot and you come up on something like this, you're probably not going to get confused and think this is a Bigfoot track. You're just not. You're gonna know this is a bear track. Okay, here's another example, and we have a human foot to the side for reference. This is another example of the double track by a bear. Let's move on to Sasquatch casts. So this is Patty's Bigfoot print, and for me, this is not a double bear track. You just can't confuse it. So this is where the audience comes in. I would love for my viewers to comment, write in what you think about each of these different prints I'm showing you. Yeah, I just don't see it here in this example. Okay, example number 2. This is the Gray Harbor Hereford track. This one, out of the 3 I'm going to show you, this is the one I'd make the case for to maybe possibly be a double bear step track. I don't think that's what's happening here, but if you were to ask me to choose one of the 3 I'm showing you, this is the one I would make the case for being a double bear step track. I still don't think that's the case, but this is where I want the viewers to write in. Let me know what you think. Actually, that middle section is probably what we think is the mid-tarsal break or the mid-tarsal flexion. And then finally, this last example, this is the healthy foot of the cripple foot casts. So there's another Bigfoot cast. The other foot of this individual actually had a crippled foot, and it looks really injured, if you will. I'm not going to show you that picture, but I used this opposite foot as an example. So this is the cripple foot, opposite foot cast. And once again, I don't see a double bear track here, but I want to hear comments from my viewers. I want to know what you guys think. Alright, so here's some side-by-side comparisons. I'm going to go through. I'm just showing you Patty again, the Gray Harbor Hereford, and this cripple foot cast. So we're going through here. Take a look at the side-by-sides. What do you think? If you were out in the wilderness, would you get confused when you came up on a Bigfoot track versus a bear track, a double-step bear track? What do you think, guys? Do you think these Bigfoot casts, is that what's going on here? The skeptics are telling us that that's what's going on. What do you guys think? I love to hear your comments, and please keep supporting Squatch Ranger. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you later.